Welcome back to the Well Redneck Academy. I'm your resident Well Redneck, Sean. I want to talk to you today about a book called Manufacturing Consent by Edward Herman and Noam Chomsky. The back of the book says a powerful assessment of how the U.S. mass media failed to provide the kind of information that we need to understand the world. Now, this book was originally written back in the 80s, so you might think that it doesn't have any pertinent information about mass media since the mass media is so different now than it was back then, but you'd be wrong about that. The methods that they describe in this book are the same methods being used today, although the specific media are different. The methods are the same. The obviously you see these days where just outright lies are told, but more commonly, especially back in these earlier days, the media would just basically ignore a story or just use different types of wording to diminish the significance or to convey a diminished significance to the story or to the people who were getting hurt in the story. Those sorts of methods are still being used now in social media and all the modern media options we have. Anybody trying to make money off of mass media is still using the same sort of techniques, especially when the news is involved. If you're trying to make money off selling the news, it's going to affect how you deliver that information and what sort of information, what sort of news you provide to your viewers. So that's really what they dig into overall. Specifically, their discussion of the mass media's involvement or treatment of the U.S. war in Cambodia during the 70s, 60s, and 70s. That struck me as a pretty powerful indictment of our mass media. And if you are familiar with that history, Kissinger's bombings and the atrocities of Pol Pot that followed shortly thereafter, you already know the story here. If you're not familiar with that, I would recommend Netflix has a Turning Point documentary. Turning Points, the Vietnam War is the name of that documentary that Netflix recently put out. It's excellent coverage, several hours of information about Vietnam, and they give quite a bit of attention to how Kissinger and Nixon treated Cambodia as just collateral damage. They weren't particularly concerned about it all. And you can see in Manufacturing Consent, you can read how they were able to pull that off with the assistance of the U.S. media. You also see discussed in this book how the media plays the difference between unworthy and worthy victims. Whenever people get hurt from something our side does, those are unworthy victims that we don't need to be worried about. But if the other side hurts somebody, well, then those are worthy victims, and we can treat them like real humans. I I gotta tell a story on myself. A few years ago, the subject of owls came up, and I was talking, and I started to say something, about owl sonar. I had it in my head that owls had, that sort of ability like bats. And before I said anything about owl sonar, I thought, well, wait a minute, where did I hear about that? That sounds a little fuzzy. Maybe I ought to check on owl sonar before I make any pronouncements about it. And turns out there's no such thing as owl sonar. Owls don't have that. They got really good hearing, but they don't have sonar. That taught me something about how easily we can fool ourselves and maybe hear something or think we hear something, and then years later our game of kind of mental telephone takes over, and we think we know something we really don't know. We think we know something that's absolutely not true. We've got a situation right now in Israel and in Gaza where children and families are getting killed. And our government, the U.S. government, is helping make that happen. Our media is complicit. They're helping pave the way for the genocide. We've got to do a better job of being critical thinkers and not accepting whatever we're told. And so I think this book, Manufacturing Consent, is a critical tool for learning how to do that, how to think critically, how to sort fact from fiction when we're engaging with mass media. One of the big things you got to do is make sure you're getting your information from more than one source, independent sources. So don't take my word for it. Do a little reading up on it. Read what Chomsky has to say about it. Get your information from a variety of independent sources. And come back here. Give us a comment on what you think is happening. If you think that we're being misled about anything in our media, and let me know if you're interested in digging deeper into manufacturing consent and helping each other figure out how to sort out fact from fiction in this modern world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.